But I think it's just the way that he is and way that he says things. And an example would be he'd come out and try and slate me about living at my mum's house, for example. Now, at the time it was accurate, but I live in Perth. I was training in Sydney in a training camp. So yes, I was living at my mum's house. You know what I mean? Like, but he made it out as if the actual words were, oh, he's a pizza driver, he's got no money, so he's living at his mum's house. You know what I mean? Now, if that's what he likes to do and likes to be a 13-year-old child, that's him. I'm 38, man. I don't play with all this bullshit. You know what I mean? I come.
Lucas Browne ain't like that. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Yo, I'm hyped for this fight. Too bad. It's really, really likely that no United States network is going to pick up this fight, but still, overall, I'm going to watch it. Or at least, I have a company called Comcast Xfinity. So use sometimes a channel called AWE. I think it's for an acronym for a wealth of entertainment. May televise some matchroom fights over here. But this is going to be an exciting fight now. It might be ugly. It could be ugly. You know, it could be a 12-round, you know, it could be ugly. Let's just put it that way. And Whyte versus Chisora was a good fight, even though at the beginning I thought, okay, when it was first announced, I said, man, it's probably going to be a whole bunch of hugging and shit. But then once they started throwing tables, and you'll notice that Adam Smith makes sure he keeps a close eye, you know, on Dillian Whyte, just in case, you know, some shit pops off. But let's go to the meat of this press conference, which was we're going to go right here. And we're going to talk about the fight. We're going to talk about what it means. And the fact that I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn is probably on the phones trying to make this for the WBC #1 contender. Now, you have Dominic Breazeale, who beat Gerald Washington in a WBC final eliminator. And you have Dillian Whyte, who's ranked #1 by the WBC. So Dillian Whyte should be ordered, if he wins this, to fight Dominic Breazeale. But I'm sure Eddie Hearn is probably trying to do some finessing and trying to get the WBC to say, hey, mate, you know, don't worry about Dominic Breazeale right now. Make Whyte versus Browne for the WBC, you know, like mandatory. And as you can see, it's for the WBC silver. And when the WBC wants, they can say, well, fuck it, he's got the silver, so we're going to make him the mandatory. Especially if Dominic Breazeale doesn't have a plan to be back or in action within the next 3-4 months or so. So expect, you know, expect some shadiness can go down, depending on if you want to call it shadiness, you know, where Dillian Whyte could be the mandatory for the winner of Wilder versus Ortiz, if Wilder or Ortiz can get Joshua versus, you know, Parker. And then that puts more political power in the hands of Eddie Hearn to, if Anthony Joshua were to beat Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte were to beat Lucas Browne, then they can kind of force Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder through the mandatory spot, you know, and Anthony Joshua have more options to go and not fight Deontay Wilder. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just pointing out, you know, what can possibly happen. But let's go to this part. Now, Lucas Browne at this point in time, you know, was getting very agitated. And you can tell that Eddie Hearn, in a way, was kind to, you know, instigate the situation. They wanted some fire because at first, you know, it was, this press conference is 21 minutes long. At first, it was dragging out a little bit until it came up to the part where they was like, yo, Lucas Browne, like, yo, man, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm living with my mom. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and that's one of the first things people say when you do YouTube videos from anywhere. They're like, oh, look at this person's in their mom's basement. That's like the oldest fucking insult in the book. But let's go to this part. And this is where business had picked up. We're going to go right here. Please subscribe.
I'm on the verge of screaming for world title at the minute. I think this is the perfect fight for me to win and to establish myself as a legitimate contender. Then no one can't deny me. So this is probably the most important fight of my career. So yeah, it's a very, very important fight. You know.
You said you had hard fights. Was that the one that you lost to AJ and you didn't put the one on your column there on your social media? Or the one you lost to Chisora?
Lucas, the one fight you had that was difficult, you was on the gear. It was against Chagayev, and you failed the drug test.
I was on the gear, was I?
And then you failed the drug test 8 months again. You're a junkie, mate. Calm down.
How am I a junkie? If I got done for the same thing you got done for.
You are a junkie. How can you fail a drug test 8 months earlier, and while the case is still going on, you fail another steroid test? It's a madness.
Number
How can
one,
you do that?
It was never steroids.
It was steroids. Kombucha and Astarine is steroids. You can't get those in supplements.
It was pre-workout. Yes, it was a pre-workout.
It's not pre-workout.
Just like you with the Jack 3D, yeah?
Okay, it's pre-workout. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. You just been done for steroids.
What did you fail for, Dylan?
Pardon?
Jack 3D. What did you fail for? Jack 3D.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's break this down. Let's break this down.
So are you a junkie as well?
Let's break this down. Anyone, if you get done for steroids, are you just gonna go into a shop and say, "Oh, can I have the strongest pre-workout you have?" No, I got done for pre-workout. Everything I do now, I'm super careful. I check everything. You're not gonna have a steroid case looming over you and just go and just ask for the strongest product in a pharmacy. Are you? No, you're gonna be super careful.
Now that's real shit though. Anything you put into your body when you're a fighter, you're supposed to know. Like even if it's something, let's say if you're on vacation and it's something you've never drank before. I'm the type of person where I'm going to tell my fighters, hey, listen, you make sure you read everything. And if you see some chemical or something that you don't know of, you make sure you call and you make sure you get your ass on the internet and you see if it's on that VADA or whatever that, body that you're testing for. You're supposed to know everything. There's certain cold medicines and things they can't take. This is supposed to be boxing education, that the boxers should be taking courses for, at least once a year. Because it's so many different things that's added to the banned list all the time. But we're going to talk more about that after this little exchange.
You're a junkie. Without the juice, you're nothing. The only time you've been in shape was when you was on the juice. And Chagayev still had you all over the floor. You're a junkie.
What about the Towers fight then?
You
the Towers fight, I was the same condition and the same weight.
It doesn't matter. You're a junkie, mate.
How am I a junkie?
You are a junkie.
If I was the same weight and same condition for the Towers fight and had a clean test, how am I a junkie?
You're addicted to the juice and you're a crap fighter. You got power, but you're a crap fighter.
Carry on, my friend.
You're a crap fighter.
No worries.
You're a crap fighter. A 40-year-old Chagayev bashed you all over the floor and you was on the gear. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Listen, let's be serious about this. I'm happy you come here to fight. You're a strong. You're a big, strong guy. You yourself say you're a bully and you're an enforcer, mate. You keep saying stuff. You're gonna punch me in the face. You're gonna do this and you're gonna do this. One thing I want to say to you. Do you think you can come to my city and punch me in my face outside the ring and go back to Australia alive?
Are you serious?
Do you think you can do it and go back to Australia alive?
Look at Adam Smith.
Mate, you think you can punch me in my face outside the ring and go? Listen to me, Lucas. Listen to me. I box. I do the sports. I'm a nice guy. This and the other.
You're a gangster now as well.
If you think you can do that to me, mate.
Okay.
You'll see.
All right.
Trust me.
So you're a gangster junkie.
There's
right?
two sides to this beast. Remember that. There's
Good,
a sportsman side. There's a next side, mate. Why are you gonna punch me in the face? Just go ahead.
It's boxing. What do you think we're gonna do?
No, you didn't not boxing.
We're gonna punch each other in the face.
What's the interview? He said if I get to
all right, we're gonna stop it right there for now. So, I pretty much already laid out the politics of it for you. I guess we can go watch a couple highlights right here. Here is the stoppage of Ruslan Chagayev by Lucas Browne. This was back in 2016, if I'm correct. And then he had one fight after this, a comeback fight, which we're going to watch a little bit of too. And basically, he was winning this fight, even though he had went down earlier. But even though Lucas Browne is a cool dude, he seems like one of those type of guys you can meet and y'all can just chill and everything, and just talk about just regular shit. But as a fighter, his style is going to be hard for him to keep it in this landscape. But then again, at least he's in the landscape. The heavyweight division is like on fire right now. When you have Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, Joshua Parker in that little tournament thing they got going on, or hopefully, we get to see the winner of those fight. Then you got Dillian Whyte, you got Ddestroyed. Even though he lost his last fight, him and Dillian Whyte is still somewhat of a good fight. Even though Ddestroyed's got to get back on that winning trail to catch back up to Dillian Whyte now. You got David Hay, you got Tony Bellew, whatever he does at heavyweight, or if he's going to, go back there in the cruiserweight, but he'll likely stay at heavyweight. You got Huey Fury, Bryant Jennings.
They're taking shape and evolving and maybe changing shape now, Barry. Fighters like Chagayev will be viewed as the old guard and very much beatable.
Definitely, because I think
there's a story behind this fight.
The emergence of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, all of a sudden we have. Oh, good. Oh, what a right hand.
Wow. Right hand from Lucas Browne. And with a minute to go, Chagayev is on the canvas. He's taking his time getting up. 7. He looks wobbly. He doesn't know where he is. We could be on the cusp of a shock here in Grozny. Right hand again. He's in trouble.
Damn.
Lucas Browne goes for the finish. Uppercuts. Referee has a good look. He's staggering back against the ropes, which appear to be keeping him up. He steps in. Lucas Browne has done it. Oh,
he's got power.
Word. Can you believe it?
He's got power. Now, this is what I want you to look at, though. Now, I'm going to tell you the story of what's been going on with this whole WBA world title at 100 and the world heavyweight title. All right. So let's go look at Lucas Browne real quick. 25-0 with 22 KOs. He fought Ruslan Chagiev for that WBA world title right here. Now watch this. This was in March. That was in March of 2016. March of 2016. Then he had this long layoff right here. From 2014, right? So between 2014 and 2016, just, one fight in almost 2 years. But then this happens. The belt goes on this delay where between 2016 and basically, about 19 months or so later, Manuel Char beat Alexander Ustinov because Lucas Browne failed the drug test. So what they did was they went back to Ruslan Chagiev, the WBA, went back to Ruslan Chagiev after nobody could find him and said, yo, you want your belt back? Lucas Browne failed the drug test. So it's like a no contest. That belt is yours now. He's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm retired. And then ever since then, the WBA world title been trying to find, a fight where you had Shannon Briggs, who was supposed to fight Frezzo Quindo, and the fight was nearly done. Well, it was done and finalized, and basically, Shannon Briggs failed the drug test. So now Lucas Browne is back after fighting this guy Matthew Greer, and this was his last fight. This was Lucas Browne's last fight. Wait, I'm looking for the knockout. Where's that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, we gotta take a little bit of a break. We gotta take a little bit of a break. No, they probably gonna fuck with me trying to copyright me for doing my job. But anyway, so wait, that was Lucas Browne's last fight. This guy, Matthew Greer, 16-20. So it was a comeback fight. So it's like in a very intimate venue. And now he in the big league. Now he in the mix. He beat Dillian Whyte. He's in the heavyweight championship mix by mandatory purposes, not because of like name or anything, but by mandatory purposes. People gonna be like, what? Like, who the motherfucker is Lucas Browne and everything? And then he'll be able to make some money because, guys, depending on how it goes, the champion may not want to fight him, so he's going to get at least one step-aside agreement. So we're talking about the future, obviously, if he does win. If Dillian Whyte does win, then he's after Anthony Joshua. And Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte are in a good situation to get a Deontay Wilder fight. If Eddie Hearn doesn't want to make Wilder versus Joshua, or what if Joshua loses to Parker? So that would kind of force Dillian Whyte to be the next mandatory, you know, especially if Dillian Whyte beats Lucas Browne, and let's say the WBC does decide to let him be the mandatory, or if the WBC does decide, hey, you fight Dominic Breazeale and you're definitely the mandatory, and that fight can likely happen in the summer or something, and then, you know, he can start, you know, chasing Wilder. And what if Anthony Joshua loses to Joseph Parker? There's the rematch clause, so therefore that would tie up Wilder versus Joshua, and of course Wilder would have to beat Ortiz. So yeah, it's all complex, but I understand the storyline, and if you follow it, this is a very good fight for both of these fighters on a political landscape. And let's face it, if Lucas Browne loses, because it's kind of like a heavyweight boxing Game of Thrones type of thing going on. So if Lucas Browne was to lose, he'll be knocked all the way out of it. Remember, Shannon Briggs was high up in that heavyweight talk of all the guys. He felt that drug test. He fell out. You got guys like Huey Fury, who lost to Joseph Parker. Huey Fury, he's out the mix now. You got Tyson Fury. He's somewhat right there, but he's fat. And people saying this is like, okay, well, we got to see you in the ring first before we start saying, okay, well, you know, next year or so, because we're not going to see him in no big fight in 2018. So he's like there, but he's not. And then you got guys like Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz. If one of those guys loses, you know, they're going completely out the mix, you know. So it's the heavyweight landscape is really hype right now, you know, for multiple reasons. I was going to show some Dillian Whyte highlights, but we'll save that for the next video, you know. So as you can see right here, the heavyweight landscape. I got to update this a little bit, by the way. WBC, you know, champion Wilder, IBF and WBA, IBF and WBA, Anthony Joshua. And then you can have Lucas, whichever one of these guys wins, whether it's Lucas Browne or Dillian Whyte, they can choose whether they want to go after Deontay Wilder, or they'll be able to choose whether they want to say, okay, well, let's try to go after WBA world champion Manuel Charles, so at least we can say we were a champion, or in Lucas Browne's case, a two-time champion, you know, before he was stripped. You know, so you got Kubrat Pulev, who's still in the mix, and I'm sure that the IBF may likely order Kubrat Pulev and Gerald Miller to fight, and then the winner go on to be the IBF mandatory. So these are the guys I'm talking about that are actually in the mix of, you know, being the next guys for Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, because the pickings are not getting easy, you know. The pickings are not getting easy. You know, one of these guys that we've mentioned is going to come out to be the undisputed champion of the world. Seriously. So, you know, that's my take on it, you know, and truth be told, like, Lucas Browne seems like a cool dude. You know, I follow him on social media and everything, but I'm not like a fanboy or anything like that for people who are watching this video for the first time. And Dillian Whyte seemed like a cool dude, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know all about Brixton. I know they don't fuck around. I'm down, you know. But at the same time, Dillian Whyte is good, but I'm still trying to figure out if he's world level. Now, this Lucas Browne fight, you know, he's got to knock him the fuck out. He's got to get his name buzzing, because his last fight, his name wasn't buzzing, and a lot of people feel that he lost that Derek Chisora fight. So he's got to go out and knock Lucas Browne the fuck out, you know, to be like, yeah, Deontay Wilder, I'm coming for you, you know. But anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media, as you can see, been popping up on the screen periodically. We're looking for help. We need people everywhere. You know, but if you're in the UK, there's tons of press conferences that have been coming up. You know, we need nice, professional people. You have to understand that, you know, if you're going to these events for us, it ain't no such thing as, oh, well, I can't make it tonight. You know why? Because that shows you're not hungry. We can't invest in you. But if you are serious about covering the sport and you want to get to these fights, and now we're not in a situation, as you can see, over the years, you know, we've made a lot of upgrades. But over the last year, we've made the upgrades we've made, I can't even speak of. As you can see, we're doing some real innovative things here. So we're not a startup company anymore. We're established. We have a budget, and just not to bullshit you around, we have a budget. So if you do the work, you know what I'm saying, we're going to take care of you. You know, we need people that understand you're going to be around multi-million-dollar athletes, promoters. These are millionaires and celebrities as you're around. So I can't have you saying, oh, yeah, you contacted me. Well, I'll go to this press conference, but what you paying or not, you know, being respectful about it. So on here, when I do these videos, I'm a cool dude, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to business, things have got to be done. You know, I've learned enough to know that people will tell you they'll go to a press conference, then some shit come up. But it's like, oh, yo, we can't work with you, you know? That's not, this is a big deal. But if you're responsible, if you're a responsible adult, and you like to have some fun, even if you don't go to every press conference or every media workout or every event, if we choose to send you, we'd be like, okay, all right, well then you gotta, give us this coverage. You either gotta write written coverage or you gotta write or you gotta do video coverage. It's ways to do things, but I'm actually gonna do a more in-depth video on that and just leave this to Dillian Whyte versus Lucas Browne. But the fight is on March the 18th. No, it was March the 24th. The UK dates always mess me up. March the 24th, but it wouldn't have been no year. It's not 2024 yet. So March the 24th, 2018. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.